So I'm staying at a beautiful Airbnb by the Russian River, north of San Francisco. And at this Airbnb, here at this fireplace, found these great old vertebra. And when you look at these vertebra, you see how different they are from a normal, from a human vertebra. And one of the things that stands out to me, or actually a few things that stand out, but one of the things that stand out, first of all, is the transverse processes here. And you see how wide this transverse process is compared to a human transverse process of a vertebra. The other thing that stands out is just the size of the spinous process. How big the spinous process is. And before you even look into it and see what kind of animal this is, you can kind of deduce what may be happening, what kind of animal this might be, just from the form and shape of the vertebra. So first of all, you've got a really long transverse process, and you've got now a nice big sail of a spinous process. And the other thing that you look at is you look at just the body of the vertebra. And when you look at the body of the vertebra, it's not as big, even though the transverse process is pretty big and the spinous process is pretty big. The body of the vertebra is actually not as big compared to, let's say, a lumbar vertebra on a human. They're pretty tall, but not as big as a human lumbar vertebra. The other thing is the way that these facets right here, the way that these facets hook in, and let's try to do this here. Right there, the way that they hook in to each other. And that tells me a lot. It tells me that there's not a whole lot of rotation in this in this vertebra. Instead, there is some. Instead, let's do this here. There's not a whole lot of movement here. Instead, there's just kind of a lot of stability. So you look at that, how stable that is. You look at the size of the transverse process. You look at the size of the spinous process that I'm holding here in my right thumb. And you can kind of deduce this animal isn't really meant to walk upright. There's not a whole lot of movement in rotation. There's just a lot of stability here. So I can deduce that this animal probably walked on four legs and probably kind of walks in this manner. So when you look at the size of it, it's not that huge. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's something like a cow, but it's still bigger than like a coyote. So my first guess is that it's a deer. It's a deer vertebra. And when you look at deer vertebra online, you see that it pretty much matches the type of vertebra that we have here in our hand. So it's really neat to see how the form of the vertebra can help us deduce the function, what it's meant to be. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.